You are welcome to The Real You. Yeah, this is a channel that is specially created for you. Yes, it's you I'm talking about. Yes, you. You are the special person that this channel is created for, and the channel is all about you. Why is the channel all about you, you may ask? That's because every other channel out there talks about other people, other places, other events that take place. But this is the channel that is specially designed to talk about the events of your life, that is specially designed to talk about the places in your life, those special places. This is the special channel that has to do with your total development. Yeah, this is The Real You. This is a channel that picks up principles from our everyday lives, the things that happen around us, people, places, and events. And why do we draw out these principles? It's so that we can apply them to ourselves to be the very best version of ourselves. So why do we have to be the very best version of ourselves, you may ask? That's because you are created to be the best you. Now listen to me. There is no other person like you in all of the earth. You're so special. That's why you have a special DNA. So what do we do here in this channel? We bring out these principles so that when we apply them, we will avoid those pitfalls that others that have gone ahead of us that made mistakes made. We will avoid those mistakes. Why this channel special for you? Like I said, it's because this channel is for doers, it's for dreamers, it's for achievers, it's for those who want to go beyond the challenges and the setbacks of life and use the setbacks to become things that set them up to become the best version of themselves. You will agree with me that life is not a bed of roses. There is no easy route in life. But if others can overcome and become history makers, then you too can. Yes, this is the channel that is enabling everyone that is interested to become a history maker. Life, like I said, is made up of two people, history makers and those who watch history being made. History is always being made, and you are a history maker. Inside of you is a potential to become a history maker. But what you do with the potential is what is important. That's why this channel is about bringing out the principles of life so that you can use them to be that very special person and make history and leave footprints on the sands of time. You're welcome to The Real You. This is a channel that will make you to be that special person you've always dreamt about. You know, because inside of everybody is a huge and big dream. But the thing that stops us are the obstacles that we see on our way. But with this channel, you will realize that every obstacle is surmountable. It will enable you to see that every challenge is surmountable, and that what we call setbacks are actually things that set us up to become the real people that we are. In this channel, you will discover you. In this channel, you will develop you. In this channel, you will become that very best version of yourself. And in this channel, we will enable you to carry the spirit of, if others can, I also can. It's not this channel. It's not about watching the videos in this channel, but it's about applying the principles that we try to unveil every day. You and me, we all make up this wonderful community of The Real You. How do we do it? First of all, if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscription button. That's the first way you can become a part of this wonderful community. What's the next thing you're going to do? Hit the bell icon so that next time I do a video like this, it will get right into your box and you don't want to miss anything. The next thing you're going to help us do is to like, share, and also comment. We want to have a community of vibrant people that will make this channel to be the we want to have a community of people that make this channel to be the very vibrant and the best, to make this channel to be the very best channel that people would always want to come back to say, how can I improve myself? Life is all about improving you, doing you, being you, and always becoming the best version of yourself. That said, once again, you are very, very welcome to The Real You. Sit back, watch, enjoy, savor, listen carefully, take notes, physical notes and mental notes, then apply the principles to your life. That way, you will be on the top. You will be set up, not to be set down by setups or set downs. Welcome. Enjoy. Today's video is a very special one because I am presenting to the Real You family my new and very latest book. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I speak and I write to inspire and to educate people. I just don't do it for people outside, I do it with myself too. Because I realize that life is all about knowledge, and you draw knowledge from things around you, from people, from places, from events, and most of those things are documented into books. This book is titled Pearls, Tested and Proven Secrets. Now, this is my fourth book. I'm going to be leaving links on how you can get my other books, but this is my fourth book. And I feel so humbled as a person to be writing such a book. Why am I saying that? It's because of what is inside of this book. I've written other books and I read them, and I know that this is really a timeless book. I may not blow my trumpets because I said the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So I'll leave you to just let's go through the book together. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the way the book is written. It's written in very simple language, simple, easy to understand, and it's for everybody. It's for the males, the females, it's for the young people, the young at heart, the young age wise, and those who are young in terms of their feelings and all that, and those who are a bit advanced in the number of years that they have spent on earth. So the book is for everybody out there who wants to be the very best version of themselves. Remember, this is what we do here on this channel. We bring out things all around us, people, places, events, present, past, and all that. Why we do that is because we want to draw inspiration from the things that people have done, and the things that people did not do. We avoid the pitfalls so we do not repeat the same mistakes that others have done. Yeah, so this book is actually, like I said during the physical launching, is that this book is a compendium. It's a combination of all the books that I've read, and it's a combination of all the people that have spoken wisely to me. That's why I actually had to dedicate the book to my father of blessed memory, because he did so much in my life. In fact, he inculcated into my life a habit of reading, which I've already stated in the book, that when a child is, especially in my generation, you were spanked, you were given 6 strokes, you were given 12 strokes, you were flogged, you were punished, you were kept in a naughty corner, you were deprived of certain benefits. Well, my case was a bit different because I was actually punished with books. I was made to read books, and so books became my companion. There were times I used to hide to read books in the restroom so that I will not be disturbed. So, this book is actually a compendium of so many books. It's a combination, it's a compilation of so many books that I've read over my years on earth. So, that said, I'd like to introduce you to the book once again. The title is Pearls. You know how precious pearls are? Pearls, tested and proven secrets. Now, the pearls here, though they stand for the pearls that we know, it's not really the physical pearls, but they are valuable, they beautify, they make you look different and stand out. So we had to use the word pearls. But if you look at the book cover, you will realize that the P has a dot, E has a dot, A has a dot, R has a dot, L has a dot, and S tells you that all of the words here, they actually stand for different things, which I will be unveiling and unfolding as we go on. But just in case you are here for the first time, just in case you're here for the first time, I'd like to welcome you to this channel. This is The Real You. This is a very wonderful channel that is specially designated for you. I created this channel because I realize that most channels out there are focused on other people. We talk about people, we talk about places, we talk about events, and we get all excited to know what's happening to this person and all that. Now, that's not bad, but the most important person in this world is you. So this channel is actually dedicated towards improving you, because I know that life is just one slot, one chance. And if you don't give the very best shot of your life, you would have wasted your life. And there's no replay. Life is not like, okay, I'm going to go and then I'll come back and redo the things that I didn't do well. Well, some people believe in reincarnation. I don't have any issues with it. But the thing is, even if there is a thing like that, I have no reservations about it. Is the fact that you're not going to come back to bear your name. For instance, I'm not going to come back to bear patriciatuaweri. I will be bearing another name, and so I will be coming again to play the part of the name or the person that I'm bearing. Well, that's about that. So this book is, like I said, is a very concise and very power-packed book. So in the preamble, I introduced the value of gold, and I said I like to read a few lines. I said gold never loses its value regardless of the location it is found or the place that it is discovered. Gold has a wherewithal to take a new shape and become brighter. Why and how does gold become brighter? It's because when gold passes through certain situations, which are the places that we too as human beings will pass through, it becomes better. I likened gold to our visions and our dreams. Our visions and our dreams are like that. They do not have expiry date, and the dreams and visions are not for any particular class of people. Anybody can dream, anybody can have a vision. That's why I said here in my preamble that it's only a fool who can despise gold because it was found in a certain area. And by the way, gold is not found in the places that you would expect it to be found. Gold is actually found in a state that does not make it look like gold. That's how dreams are. I think that's what would have warranted the brothers of Joseph in the Bible when Joseph told them about his dream. They looked at him like, "You, small Joseph." So dreams are for everybody, age, where you are staying, your location, and all. So that's that. And then I also talked about the fact that dreams do not have an expiry date. Dreams never have an expiry date. Dreams live on, and even when we exit this earth, they still live on. Some people are very fortunate in their lives to discover their dreams quite early in life. While some people discover their dreams and then lose it along the line because of circumstances and situations. And in the process of losing their dreams, you find out that they eventually begin to mask, wearing other people instead of themselves because they have lost focus, they've lost the zest for life. What gives life that zest is the dreams. So having said that, I also talked about the fact that life is a continuum of events. This means that the end of one segment of one's life does not mean the end of the life, but that could be the beginning of another phase. Within these pages are very simple, daily tested, and proven secrets that are found in the books that I've read and in my stay here on earth. It's written, like I said, in very simple English that anybody can read it. Now, this book is for those who want to continue to speak while they are no more physically on earth. Because within these pages, my own way of adding to the voice of people who are still speaking. So, like I wrote in the still I'm talking about my preamble, that if you come across this book or any other works of mine, then you will realize that even though I may not be physically there with you, you're still hearing me speak, just like you're hearing me speak now across this medium. I'm not there physically with you, but you're hearing me. And whatever thing I say here, when you implement them, you will find out that you would be influenced by me. I would have educated you, and you will be using the things that I've said here to live your life and impacting people. So, if you are inspired to do something that adds value to the lives of other people after going through this book, by the way, I'm going to leave a link below, so that you can connect with the book. Go too far, I like to say that the first 10 people who would use the link that I'm leaving below to make purchases would have 50% off. So, I'm giving 50% off for the first 10 people. First of all, the book is at a slashed price, and so it's going to be slashed like maybe a quarter on the whole. Now, that said, that means that we on earth here, we're here to add value to the lives of others. Now, if you are inspired to do something that adds value to the lives of other people after going through this book, then part of my purpose here on earth is fulfilled. That means that I did not just pass through this earth. You did not just pass through this earth, but you and me, you and I, who have made our lives to count. So, welcome to P.E.A.R.L.S, Tested and Proven Secret. That said, I like to delve into the book. And the first thing I did, the book is not into chapters, but into different parts. So the first thing I did here was to ask this wonderful question that I always ask people, which is, are you making or are you watching? Now, life is made up of two categories of people: those who make things to happen and those who actually just watch things. And I talked about the people who just watch the things that happen as those who would look at events and they would narrate it, give the details of the event and all that. While those who make things happen are the ones who those who watch things happen talk about. Now, that's quite interesting. These people who watch things that happen, they are not the historians. No, 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 no. Historians are wonderful people. I used to love history a lot when I was in school. Historians are wonderful people. There are those people who know history. They are found in almost every sphere of life, whether it's in politics, it's in religion, it's in education. They can talk about virtually almost everything. I like to use football like a lot as an example. These people, when they talk about football, they will talk. History watchers are found in almost every sphere of life, which includes football, fashion, politics, religion, and so on. And these people, when they talk about football, like I always like to use football as an example, they will tell you the names of all the players in all the teams. They know when the goal was scored. They can even tell you the exact angle and the exact minutes and second that the goal was scored. They're so good at things like that. They can tell you, the latest fashion in town, the latest designer, and so much, but they do not earn any money for it. They just talk about these things again and again. If you meet such people, those watchers of history, they know those who are making history in politics. They can tell you a lot. If you hear them talk about the French wars, the First World War, the Second World War, you will be amazed. You'll be wondering, wow, were you there? Because they know the details and they can tell you a lot. They can tell you about the New World and so much. Again, I like to put this disclaimer: history in itself is not bad. I love history. In fact, it used to be one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. Historians also add value to life because it is through them we get to know the things that we know now, which I will be unfolding with some. Remember, I'm talking about secrets, and it's people like historians who dig up certain things, in life. Having said that, I wish to say this is also part of the preamble of the book, is that when you spend all your time talking about other people, guess what? Time is ticking, and time does not wait for anybody. And you know what? Life is measured by time. Somebody described time as a currency of life. You exchange time in place of life. Life, time. Time, life. And you know, one thing again about time, which is quite interesting, is that we all have the same number of time. We have 24 hours in one day. We have 168 hours in a week. We have about 730 hours in a month and about 8,760 hours in a year. Now, when you spend all your time talking about other people and you're not adding value to anybody, time is ticking. While the people you're talking about are the ones who are using their time to leave footprints on the sands of time. Now, whether we like it or not, consciously or unconsciously, every single human being is doing one of these. You're either spending time, or you are wasting time, or you are investing time. Now, one of my all-time very wonderful definitions about life is the fact that life is trouble. Yes, you heard me right. I got that definition from somebody. Now, that's to tell you that this life we live in is, like a school. In a school, you need to write an examination. You need to pass, in the examination before you go to the next class. So that's why I like the definition of life as trouble. That's because embedded inside of life are challenges. But you know what? People come and they look at the challenges and then they want to run away. But no, 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 no. Challenges are like your ladder through which we climb. That's what we're going to be seeing through this book as we look at it. The Apostle Paul validated what I just said about challenges as what we overcome to grow, as saying that many afflictions come to man, come to the righteous, many afflictions, not few, many afflictions come to the righteous, but they are delivered from all the afflictions. Difficult situations are inevitable because they are ingrained into the very fabric of the society. A child wants to start walking, the child would walk, fall, hurt himself or herself, but would still move on to the next level, Difficult situations are inevitable. I need to lay this background before I make us go through the P.E.A.R.L.S. That's the six principles, sorry, that I put. I need to run through this background before I make us go through the six tested and proven secrets. So difficult times are inevitable because they're ingrained into the very fabric of our lives and serve as instruments for growth. But the thing about difficult times is that they are temporary. They do have a beginning and they do have an end. They are not intended to destroy us, but they are supposed to be part of our world because they serve as instruments that help reveal our ingenuity. Times come to reveal our ingenuity. Before I started this video recording, I was looking for the best angle that the camera would stay. I had my former tripod broken, so I was trying to improvise, and I had to discover something that I could easily do without a very long stand. And I was like, wow. So that's what difficult times come to do. If my older tripod had not broken, I would not have discovered what I've discovered today. And trust me, it's much easier, much, much, much easier. And trust me, it's much easier to use what I just used today to do this recording. So once again, challenges or problems or trouble or whatever you call them are temporary. They are not meant to stay forever, and they're not intended to destroy us, but they are part of our world because they serve as instruments that help reveal our ingenuity. Whenever you see a challenge, I wish to make you know that it's opportunity lurking behind. It's opportunity, it's telling you opportunities around. If you look very well, you're going to see something that you will invent. Most of the things we see in life today are discoveries that emanated because of challenges. The light bulb you see was discovered to chase out darkness. And I love two all-time discoveries, which are the ambulance, which was a wartime discovery, and the canned food industry is an amazing industry. The canned food industry was discovered because French soldiers needed to carry their ration to the war, to the battlefront rather, and not come back to eat, thereby disorganizing some things. So a man called Nicolas Appert, a Parisian chef, came up with the idea of canning the food, so everybody had to carry their food to go. Now, these inventions were wartime inventions, challenges. First of all, the war itself is challenging. Once again, I don't promote war, but I'm just using this as examples to buttress the fact that challenges are the bedrock of discovery. Now, the world has evolved and humanity has grown and is still evolving and growing because we're always overcoming difficult situations. People no longer use grinding stone. I think I did a video one time I'm going to leave the link below. You can check it out where I said people who now have metamorphosed from using the grinding stone that we used to use before. We're now using the blender, and it makes life very, very easy. So those are the things that we have evolved through. So those who see problems as things that can crush them and destroy them always view life in the light of difficult. But those who see challenges as the things that as stepping stones, not stepping stones, are the ones who look around and say, okay, what am I going to do? Like when we were growing up, we used to sing this song that says, if you can't go over it, you can go around it. If you can't go around it, you can crack through it. If you can't crack through it, you can look for a way to just go under it. That's to tell us, those songs used to be like children's songs, but that's to tell us that no problem is insurmountable, no matter how powerful the problem seems to be. Yeah, so that's the preamble of the book. So there are two categories of people: those who watch things happen and those who actually make things happen. Now, before I go further, I'd like to ask you a question. Which I'd like to ask you a question. Which part of life are you in? Are you spending your time? Are you investing your time? Are you wasting your precious time? What have you done in the past 24 hours? Having said that, I also want to ask you, are you watching life just pass you by? Or are you actually making history? Or are you watching history? Or are you leaving footprints on the sands of time so that even when you're no more physically here, people would remember you? You know, Life is made up of two categories, and the earlier you choose the category that you belong to, the better for you. And one thing again that I want to add at this point before I continue is the fact that sincerely, life is fair. Everybody has a fair challenge of life. There's nobody who is crisis free. Somebody joked once and said there are two things that you must see even in a palace, is that you will see cobwebs in a palace and you will see lizards in a palace. I don't know how true lizards are, but I know that cobwebs are inevitable. You will take them off, they will still come back again. Well, I hope somebody would prove me wrong. That said, I would like to go for a short break and we'll be back. Once again, if you are here for the first time, you're just coming across this channel, my name is Patriciatuaweri and I anchor this program. This channel is The Real You. What we do here is to look at life
from every angle. We look at life from the things that happen to us, the things that happen to other people, the stories of past, things from the Bible, present, contemporary, and all that. And we draw inspiration from the lives of people. We draw life's lesson, we learn, and why we learn is because we want to be the best version of ourselves. So what we do is we use the things that we've learned to make our lives to be the best. Remember, you are created to be the best. You are created fearfully and wonderfully to inherit, to possess the earth. And you can't do it if you are not putting up your best. That said, we will be back to continue with this book as I bring more excerpts from the book Pearls, Tested and Proven Secrets. You're welcome back. Before we left, I dropped this question with us, and the question is: are you watching history? Are you making history? Are you just watching other people do things and you are just applauding them, or are you really the one that is in the arena of life and playing the game called life? That was the question I left with us before we went on the break. Once again, if you're here for the first time, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, just in case you haven't. This is quite an interesting channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon, which is the notification icon, so that next time I do a video like this, it will get right into your box. By the way, my videos are usually not long, but because I'm presenting my latest book to us, that's why this video is particularly long. Well, that said, we want to continue. Again, there are two categories of people in life: those who see life's challenges as insurmountable, and those who see life's challenges as surmountable. Have you tried to walk around with some people and then you just get to a place and you realize that there is a challenge, and the people will just say, oh no, we're done. We're done. There's nothing we can do again here. We just give up. And amongst you, there are some people who would say, there is a way. There are just two sets of people: those who see challenges as insurmountable, challenges as things that have come to end them, and those who see challenges as this too would come back. This too would come down. This mountain will come down. Those are two sets of people. Let me repeat myself again. There are two sets of people on this earth: those who see challenges and run from it because they feel that the challenges have come to take their lives, and those who see challenges as something that is surmountable. They look at the challenges in the face and they say, challenge, you will come down. Those are the people who look at life and feel like life is about taking the bull by the horn and going forward. You know, we have the story in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, of 12 men who were sent to go and scout out the land of Canaan. Now, in one of my books, I wrote something about this wonderful woman called Rahab. I love that woman because she brings out a lot of things that we need to learn, a lot of principles that we need to apply. You can get that story of that woman in a book that I've titled Why Did the Prostitute Leave? You can get it on Scribd. Now I'm doing a free marketing for Scribd. Scribd, by the way, is an online library, but you pay some money to subscribe. But I could also still leave you with the PDF copy so that you can freely get it. See what I'm doing for you? I'm giving you a lot of freebies. All right. So that said, I said there are two categories of people: those who are always scared and cave in easily to life, into life's challenges, and those who go headlong into the challenges. So these 12 spies went to spy the land of Canaan. And like I said in my book, Why Did a Prostitute Leave? I asked a question. I said, I thought that that land was given to them by God. So why were they going for espionage? Why were they going to spy the land? Why didn't they just march in? It tells us something, which is the fact that God Himself operates on principles. He does not break principles. Principles and are the things that God has put in place to make sure that when you apply them, you get results. For instance, in God's principle, there is night and there is day. You cannot violate it. So they got to the land, the 12 spies, and they saw giants. They saw giants and then they saw good land, they saw food, they saw fruits and all that. So they came back with a report that the land was good. Now, this is the truth with our lives too. The giants represent the naturally entrenched challenges in all aspects of our life. As usual, some people will always see only the challenges, while others will see both challenges and opportunities. Like I said, when you see challenges so obvious, then look very well. There are opportunities putting up, bringing their heads and trying to tell you, I'm here. If you can just go through it, you're going to get me. If you can just come forward a little bit, you're going to get me. So those who see the opportunities usually represent a very few set of people on earth. There are those who the Bible describes as the ones who go through the narrow gate. The narrow gate of life are for those who tell you, I can do it. While the wide gate of life are those who do not want any stress, like we call it, they don't want any challenges. They just want it easy, so they just move. They don't want any challenges, so they just avoid everything and they just go the easy way. Now, life always reveals to us the things that we seek. So when you decide to take the easy way out, life would say, okay, you don't want to know. That's why things are hidden in things. I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory who said that God usually hides things in things. So it's for us to unfold it, unveil it. It's like wrapping a beautiful gift to give to somebody. When you give this gift to the person has to unfold it. The person does not unfold it, the person is not going to see what is inside. So life always reveals to us the things that we seek. This explains why those who look for problems are more likely to see a lot of problems. And trust me, there are a lot of problems in this world that we live in. On the other hand, those who look for solutions to challenges will always see or have more than enough solutions. Like the man who invented the light bulbs, we're told he didn't fail the number of times he failed, or rather, he learned those number of times how not to make the filament bulb. So there are a lot of inspirations that have emerged in life because people dared to look for solutions to challenges. Most of the things we consume today, time was when we used to really have cameras that we would take pictures and then we'll go to the dark room to go and let them go through some chemicals are used on it to get pictures. All that is now history because people have invented smaller devices. Smaller devices can now do these jobs. Some people have invented goods. Some people have come up with some people have invented goods. Some people have come up with services because they want to propose solutions to the challenges that have ravaged humanity during their lifetime. They do this by just taking a stand or opinion that differs from the popular opinion. Now, that was what happened when the spies went. The 10 people were saying, oh no, the land is filled with giants. But only Caleb and Joshua saw the land filled with opportunities. What are you looking at? Are you looking and seeing giants? Are you seeing mountains? Are you seeing insurmountable mountains and challenges? or are you seeing opportunities? That's the question now. It's something you need to think about. So those who take the popular stand are those who go the easy way, like I said before. There are two people that I mentioned here in the book, and which are Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. Both of them did not produce goods, neither did they produce services in the terms that we know them to be. They do not have any form of inventions attached, nor do they have, patent rights attached to their names. Martin Luther King Jr. lived for 39 years, which tells us that it's not the number of years you live on earth that matters. He did not invent anything, yet he made a very huge impact through his non-violent civil rights protests for African Americans. Martin Luther King saw a challenge that affected men of color that lived during his time, which other people also saw. But he looked at it differently by speaking up against it. Most people who lived under the same conditions either watched, complained, whined about the way they were being treated. But Martin Luther King Jr. chose to challenge the status quo, thereby bringing about a change. Till today, we still hear him speaking when we say, I have a dream. It was a vision he had. It was actually a dream he had, and the dream did not expire, neither did it exit the earth with him. Remember, in my preamble, I said that dreams do not have expiry date. While reading through the story of David and Goliath, which were the very early Bible stories that I read and learnt about, you would think that David was a very powerful man, a very powerful, extraordinary young boy who took Goliath and brought him down. No, David actually falls into the category of those who see situations and challenges, see opportunities in challenges. So that was what he did. Life makes way for you as soon as you start to seek solutions. Arguably, David is in the category of Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. So, talking about Nelson Mandela took a stand against the apartheid rule in South Africa. While people that lived in his time were caving in, enduring, making complaints, and all that, these people that I've talked about, Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, stood out, stuck their neck out. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned and all that, but he still kept to what he was saying. Now, if you have nothing to die for, according to the same Martin Luther King Jr., then you have nothing to live for. If nothing takes you to bed thinking about how to prefer solution and nothing wakes you up and choose to look for the best way to bring about that solution, then honestly, do you think it is worth the while living? You may just be the reason why I'm writing this book, because this book is written so that you will begin to think of something predominant in your life that you're passionate about, that takes you to bed, that wakes you up, that if they somebody said, if they cut you open, that's what they will see running in your vein. They don't have to be so many things. After all, Martin Luther King, we don't know the houses he built, the cars he bought and all that, but we know about his stand on men of color and how they were treated. The same thing with Nelson Mandela. It's not about the houses you build and all, or you build and all that. We'll be coming into that. So if you have a cause that you're already living for, I'd like to congratulate you, because that's the only thing that remains long after we exit this earth. Well, if you do not have a cause that you're living for, I would like to challenge you that that is the purpose of this book, to challenge you to have something that you are passionately pursuing that would make you leave footprints on the sands of time. Now, like I said again, our remains are not the carcasses that are buried. You will see all of it when you get the book. Don't forget, I've said that the first 10 people that will get this book will get it a quarter of the price. And I would also leave a link below for you to have access to my other book, Why Did a Prostitute Leave? Which is a very good exposition on the character Rahab. Okay, that said, the things that we leave behind are the things that make history. They can never ever die. Having said that, I like to say that history is being made every day. Yes, I'm speaking to you now. History is being made. So those who actually read history books are those who just read for the sake of reading, while those who do things that add to life, either by singing a song or writing a book or inventing something or in whatever you do to add to humanity, is you making history. And you know what? History is made every day, even when you are conscious or you're not conscious. I'm sure when David was going to fight Goliath, it didn't look to him like history was being made, but history was actually made. There are two people here that I've talked about, which is Anne Taylor, who wrote the poem Who Sat and Watched My Infant Head. It was written in the 18th century. But that poem is still as relevant as it was then now. I don't know if it's even more relevant. Not a very fantastic person according to history. She didn't make much, writings, but this particular poem stood out for her, and people still use them to eulogize their mothers. Again, I talked about Prince Nikombaga, a Nigerian. I also talked about Prince Nikombaga, who in 1974 released a song entitled Sweet Mother. That song is used to celebrate mothers all over the world. It's still as relevant as it was when Prince Nikombaga wrote it in 1974. Anne Taylor and Prince Nikombaga are no longer physically here with us, but they're still speaking. That's what I mean by your remains do not ever die with you. They don't exit the earth, they stay behind. That would bring us to this question time again. Remember, the essence of this book, of me trying to bring out excerpts from the book, is to make you to understand that you can also add value to life. You can also leave footprints on the sands of time. So the questions that I'm going to leave in this segment are as follows. Are you leaving footprints on the sands of time? Do you have anything that you're passionate about, so passionate about that it takes you to bed thinking about how best you can do it? Are you as passionate as one would talk about Nelson Mandela, who risked his life, his wife, his love life, his family for the cause of a nation? Yours may not be as intense as that. We have talked about, and Taylor, who wrote Who Sat and Watched My Infant Head. We've also talked about Prince Nikombaga, who wrote Sweet Mother, a song that the lyrics still is used all over the world to celebrate mothers. What are you passionate about? Again, what takes you to bed? What wakes you up? What are you enthused about? What is that one thing that you can do? Remember, everybody has something that makes them different with which they will use to navigate this world. The parable of the talents tells us that everyone is given according to their several abilities. One was given three, one was given two, one was given one. Everybody has something to do, which is very, very important. And your strengths are the things that you use. So I'm going to leave us with a question. What are you doing? What would you leave behind? Remember all the people we talked about. I've left something behind. What would be your remains? Yeah, that's a real question. That said, once again, if you're here for the first time, please do not forget that this is the real you. This is a channel that uses everything and everybody and all that we can see to bring out principles of life so that we can apply these principles to our life so that we can be the best version of ourselves and avoid the pitfalls that people that failed fell into, and embrace the good parts that people who used the principles used to become who they are. Like we can talk about Nelson Mandela, you can know that this was a man who was committed, who was resilient to whatever he was committed into. But first of all, you can't be talking about resilience if you haven't discovered what you want. We'll be back shortly. But for the meantime, the question still remains, what are you passionate about? What are you willing to die for? What are you willing to give your time for? Don't forget, if you're here for the first time, don't forget, please subscribe. And I'd like to get your feedbacks. What do you think about the things I've just said, about the history makers, the history watchers, about those who are scared of challenges and those who go all out to go and tell this mountain, you are coming down, or those who choose the narrow path, or those who choose the very wide path, those who just want to avoid all the challenges in the world. What do you think? I need to get your feedback. Meanwhile, don't forget the book Pearls is going to go for a quarter of the price for those first people who would buy through the link that I'll be leaving behind. We'll be back shortly, but don't forget to click on the subscribe button if you're here for the first time, and then the bell icon, which is the icon, which is a notification icon, so that next time we do a video like this, it will get right into your box. We'll be back.
You're welcome back. Before we went on our break, we were talking about this all important book. In case you're here for the first time or you just came across this channel, you're here at the right time, because today I'm revealing something very important to me, something that I'm very passionate about, and that is my latest book. I'm passionate about writing, and I'm really, really passionate about this book because there's a lot that is inside of this book. And like I said at the my introduction, I said this book is a compendium. It's a compilation. It's a compressed version of the things that I've read. And I've read quite a lot of books. I say reading because I was made to read, because I was told that there was a lot inside of books. All right, so that said, we're going to go straight into our 6 secrets that will be unfolding, and that is the main reason for this book. Our first letter in these wonderful pearls, these beautiful pearls, which when you use to adorn yourself will enable you to stand out anywhere and make you to leave footprints on the sands of time, is purpose. The letter P stands for purpose. It was Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory that said that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And I think I completely see that every day when people do not know why they are here on earth. They begin to do things that abuse themselves. People do all kinds of things. Life is for a season and for a reason. The reason is a purpose. So our first letter here stands for P, like I said. Everything in life starts with purpose. Purpose is the reason behind our actions, is the reason behind why you do what you do. Why do you want to do what you want to do? That is what purpose stands for. And a clearly defined purpose is the beginning of any great achievement or feat in life. Now, I've heard several people criticize the story that is recorded in the 11th chapter of the book of Genesis, which is popularly known as the Tower of Babel. Some people describe the actions of those people as overtly ambitious. Others see them as anti-God and more. Whichever way you choose to describe those who were involved in the building of the Tower of Babel, there are some things you cannot take away from them. And one of them is the fact that they had clearly defined purpose. They were not building for the sake of building, but they were actually building because they knew what they wanted. Their purpose was to build a city and a tower that will reach the heavens. They also knew the materials they will use for the building, which were burnt bricks, slime, and mortar. They wanted this building to
enable them have a name for themselves, and also to prevent them from being scattered all over the world. Clearly defined. It looks like a mission statement. This corroborates the fact that I stated earlier, that we're all created to meet a need. This is what is referred to as cause and effect in some quarters. It is the why behind every action. If you walk into an office, a restaurant, or anywhere, the first thing you're likely to hear from the waiters is, "What can I do for you? What do you want? Why are you here? What is it that you want from us?" Not because they're being hostile, but because you just can't walk in there and just begin to hang around. You must have a reason. So the reason why you're doing what you're doing is a purpose. The reason why you're created is a purpose for which God created you. So a clearly defined purpose answers the what, the why, the how, and where of any action. What they wanted was a tower. They wanted it in the plain land of Sinai. They wanted to use bricks and slime to achieve that purpose. The tower was going to be high enough to reach the heavens. It was going to make them have a name, and they were not going to be scattered all over the earth again. Now, every purpose ought to have these elements embedded in it. That's why when you walk into an office, whether it's virtual, you go in through virtually, or you go in physically, the first thing you see in most offices that are on a mission is a clearly defined purpose. It is usually all encompassing because embedded within it is a vision, the mission, and more. It is like embarking on a journey. You cannot start a journey without having a clearly defined destination. Why are you going to where you're going to? Where are you going to? Pilots and captains and drivers do not embark on any journey without having a clearly defined destination. Without these clearly defined destinations and possibly alternative routes, you may not arrive at your destination. Because if you're just going and then you have any hiccups along the way, if you have any hiccups along the way, are you going to stop there? Are you going to stop? That would mean that you don't have a purpose why you left your house. And anybody who leaves their house without having a destination may be termed insane, because I see a lot of mad people who, a lot of people who are not normal, just leave their houses, walk to the end of the street, come back. That is not a destination. That is purposeless. Now, every human being, every family, every organization, every government needs to have clearly defined purpose, which will serve as a guide to the choices, the values, the beliefs, the actions that people take. Lack of clearly defined purpose could be the reason behind some breakups and outright divorces in marriages and relationships. The purpose for choosing a career also needs to be clearly defined. Why are you a medical doctor? Why are you an architect? Why are you a nurse? Why are you a teacher? I shared some things here that I would not want to let out completely. Like they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You need to get this book. Follow the link below and get the book so you get the whole of it. So, you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. That's how human beings operate. We are pictorial by nature, so we need to have a picture in our mind, like I said earlier about the visible and the invisible. Invisible pictures enable us to arrive at visible places. So the invisible pictures that are clearly spelled out are our purpose. We have the story of Joseph in the Bible, who said he had a dream. Luther King had a dream, a picture in his mind. So what's that picture? Jeremiah tells us that before I formed you, I knew you. So you already existed in the mind of the Creator before you were ever formed. You weren't just formed. So your job is not just a job, but you're there for a reason, to achieve a purpose. A lot of people see their jobs as places where they work in exchange for periodic paychecks. That used to be my mindset when I was a teacher. You can't get all of it in the book. I'm sure a lot of people still do that. Oh, I just go to this job. You work in a place you're not passionate in it. You work in a place you're not enjoying the place. You wake up on Mondays and you're like, oh, it's another Monday. That means you don't have a purpose in that job. You don't have a reason why you should do that. So the best thing is to quit and do what you're passionate about and do what you know that, okay, I'm doing this because of this. Sometimes people do these things because of nomenclature. They just do it because, okay, it's a big title, but they're not passionate about it. Purpose more often than not is attached to your passion. It's attached to your gifts. I talked about gifting before. That's why I took time to explain it. What are you doing with what you have? That, our society has not helped us much with this all important thing called purpose. That's because people just change professions and locations easily with no clear cut purpose in mind. I remember talking with a young girl some time ago who was going to write a university entrance examination. It happens in most cases. And then you're asking the person, what do you want to study? They tell you, okay, I want to do business admin. I'm just using that as an example. And then the person goes further to say, why do you want to study business admin? So, oh no, I just want to have a university degree. That is not purpose. Why do you want to study the course you want to study? Why do you want to go into the profession that you want to go into? This is because it's very important. Why are you in that profession? Now, I need to say this by way of passing. Our professions and our jobs do not define us. Rather, we are defined by the impact we make while we are here on earth. We make impact via our jobs and the value we add to the lives of people. That's why this is what enables us to leave footprints on the sands of time. Our jobs and professions are the means or the vehicles to achieve our purpose on earth. If you have to do what the average person does, which is to go to work from 8 to 5, 5 days or more in a week, and repeat the cycle with nothing extra to differentiate you from other people, then you will not be any different from other people. Or if you join a trade or business because you saw other people in it, then you will not be making an impact. Are you in a relationship because everybody is involved in a relationship? Then that relationship will be heading to the rocks. Purposeful relationships are the relationships that stand the test of time. Why are you friends with that person? Why are you in that relationship? Is the relationship benefiting both of you? Is the relationship where you are the one that is in charge to help the other person, or the person is helping you? If you don't have all of these relationships, then you will be having issues. A person is said to be in an upward looking relationship when one party in the relationship has all it takes to sustain both the relationship and the well-being of the other party. And then it means that I have to be there for that person. Like a child, the mother is responsible for the child. So the child looks downwards. While symbiotic could be referred to as a relationship where both of you are responsible for each other. That said, it's important that you have a clearly defined reason why you're doing what you're doing. Now, let me tell you what a clearly defined relationship would help you to do. It will help you to answer these questions. And if your relationship does not answer these questions, then you may need to think again. Why are you in that relationship? What is the purpose of you being in that relationship? What are you contributing to the relationship? Are you the one that is helped in the relationship, or are you the helper? Every relationship seems to have all of this. Now, these are more questions need to be answered for a relationship to be effectively sustained. Sincere answers to these questions will help give a proper understanding of why and what of any relationship, because we are created to recreate and we are created to be relational. A clearly defined and clearly understood position and purpose in a relationship is necessary.
for a happy and sustainable relationship, because it helps to clarify roles and expectations. Before I wrap up with this P, I want to ask you again, why are you in that relationship? What's your purpose? What are you doing in that relationship? What are you gaining? That said, we're going to move into the next letter on our pearls, which is letter E, and it stands for elastic. Yeah, letter E stands for elastic. Do you like my cup? Very soon I'm going to make it as a gift item for some people who will be participating in certain things in this wonderful channel. It comes in several colors. But you know, this is the logo of the real you. And then we also have a new logo that will be unfolding or unveiling, rather, I'll be unveiling soon. So let's say cheers to the new logo of the real you. But just in case you're here for the first time, this channel is the real you. Today's video is extraordinarily long because I'm presenting my book to the world of the real you. I'm presenting my book to my wonderful The Real You family. You are the reason why this channel is here. There's a link below where you can get this book for 1/4 of the price. For now, the first 10 people that will click to get the book, trust me, it's invaluable. Trust me. You cannot quantify what you will get from this book. And I also left a PDF of a book that changed my life. And I want you to just read it. Because knowledge is meant to be shared, it's not meant to be hoarded. I came across a book that is titled It Works, and it has transformed my life. And the author of the book talked about the fact that if you share it with others, then you would have also helped him. So there are two links, one to one of my books, Why Did the Prostitute Leave, which is an exposition on Rahab, and the book It Works, and then this my book link. Yeah, so elastic is the letter E. It stands for to do something that will resume its shape. Let me take it again. The second letter in our pearl is E, which stands for elastic. That will resume its shape. In the simplest form, to be elastic means to have the ability to resume to normal shape spontaneously after being stretched or compressed. I had to take a deep breath while writing this because the challenges of life can really, really stretch us. We can also define it as the ability to adapt to a place or situation without altering or changing our identity. You know, some people go to certain places, they change their identity, they change their names, they change so many things about them. But to be elastic means that you can come, you know what elastic means? To move and come back again to become what you are. I think we can learn from the chameleon. The chameleon teaches us how best to achieve this very interesting feat of being elastic. It's a chameleon, but when it gets to a place, an environment, it changes. It changes to that environment. And when it gets out of that environment, it's still a chameleon. There are some synonyms that explain elasticity, like adaptability, flexibility, pliable, to be stretchy, and all that. Flexible people are teachable people because they don't stick to one thing. They allow themselves to be stretched, to learn new things, and then come back again to that. We live in a world that evolves, and if you're not teachable, you may soon expire. Things change so rapidly. There are sometimes your gadgets that you're using to watch this will just begin to prompt you to upgrade. So if you don't upgrade, you will be obsolete. I gave an example of Naaman in the Bible. You can read it up. Remember, I'm just giving you excerpts to the book. It's appetizer. The taste of the pudding is when you follow the link and get the book. Remember, it's for 1/4 of the price for the first 10 people. And if you go through the link, you will see two other links in addition to the link to get this book, where you can get some books that can transform your life. Imagine with me for a while what the state of some religious organizations would have been today, who used to scorn the internet and cast aspersions at electronic and social media. Imagine where they would have been today if they didn't stop their old belief system and learn to use new things. They would have been years behind and they would have been extinct too. So, knowing when to adopt, knowing when to come back to yourself without really altering your purpose and who you are is very important. The means that you get to where you need to get to sometimes may make you to alter. You know, everybody who has become significant in life has made sacrifices at one time or the other. They've either decided to leave some things behind. You will always hear Jesus saying, "Follow me, and I will make you." Leave and follow. You hear those things. You know, some people would agree they're just to teach us that you need to let go of certain things. It is, however, interesting to see people hold on tenaciously to certain things, even when the things they're holding on to can no longer serve any useful purpose. When the things that you're holding on to do not fit into your purpose, do not fit into your bigger picture, it's time to let go. I used to know of some painkillers that were bought over the counter a few years ago, but they are now strictly prescription drugs. This is because discoveries were made and then they had to become things that could be restricted. I particularly miss a brand of pain killing. I particularly miss this killing brand called Novalgin. It used to work like magic to ease aches and feverish conditions, but it's no longer an over the counter medication. That tells us that life is not about sticking to a particular thing. We need to move on. And I said this in my book that democracy may need to be revisited. I don't have any issues with democracy, but I think it needs to be metamorphosed. Why am I saying that? Democracy was discovered in Greece in 18th century. And I doubt if anybody in this world would conveniently live in a house that was built in the 18th century. The New World was discovered in the 14th century by people who left their native land. If everybody continues to stay in the same place to do the same things, then what would happen to us in the world? Now, it's generally believed that when you're in Rome, you should behave like the Romans, but that does not make you a Roman. When you go to UK, which is very cold, or Canada, or Iceland, or all those places, you need to begin to dress well. You cannot dress the way I'm dressed like this now because you're going to get frozen. I had a very funny experience. Sometime I was moving from London to Manchester. And before we left London, it was summer though, so it was quite warm. And so we wore summer clothes. But when we got to Manchester, it was windy as soon as we came down from the train. It was windy, it was cold, and there was no hiding place. We had to start looking for things to wear to be warm. So that is about being flexible. What if we decided not to be flexible and we were saying, oh no, we still would wear the clothes that we wore from London? After all, we're in the United Kingdom. All of it is United Kingdom. We would have been frozen to death, we would have probably caught pneumonia. So it's important to adapt. I wrote about the video of a pediatrician that is seen trying to inoculate a child. There are lessons to learn. You can get all of it from the book. If I go all out to tell about the book, then you will not enjoy it again. I know some people don't like being told about everything that they need to see in the movie. But in a nutshell, I've told us that E stands for being elastic. You know, studies have shown that the human body has the wherewithal to find new pathways to heal. In a book that I read, Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza, you will learn a lot about why we don't need to be rigid, but we need to grow because rigidity hinders growth and success. If you must be impactful and relevant, then you must be somebody who is elastic, but don't lose your value. Yeah, so I'm running through pearls now. The next letter there is A, and I love this letter. It stands for ASK, ask. The letter ASK or ask is one of the most powerful tools and laws of humanity. One of the biggest secrets, all time biggest secret. The word ask means to obtain an answer or a piece of information from something or somebody. The art of asking makes a whole lot of difference between two people or more. Several years ago, I heard somebody explain ASK in a very amazing manner. The person described A for asking, S for seeking, and K for knocking. And honestly, you know that the three go together. Ask, seek, and knock. Again, I use the example of a restaurant. You get into a restaurant and then you don't ask questions. Or they don't come and ask you questions. How would they know what you want to eat? I used to tell my children when they were much younger that, you know what, I don't read minds, so you have to tell me what you want. Sometimes parents get frustrated when toddlers throw tantrums here and there and cannot even say what they want, or a baby just stays to cry. You wish you could help, but you don't know what's wrong with the baby, so you begin to guess here and there. So asking is a very, very important, asking is a very timeless and all important principle or secret of life. If you ask, you will receive. Asking is all encompassing, because you ask for direction. Thank God for the GSM. You ask questions. Oh, and thank God for Chat GPT. Ask, ask questions. Abraham is described as the father of faith, but a time came when he had to ask. He said, do I still qualify to be the father of faith? Or will somebody else become my heir apparent? And he got an answer. I also talked about the fact that Rahab had to ask. Remember, I told you I'm leaving the link to the book in below. She had to ask the spies for a favor. She said to them, when you come, can you please keep me and my father, my mother, my sisters alive? And they said yes. Now she could have done all the favors she could have for those men without necessarily asking. David had to ask, what will be done? David had to ask, what would be done for the person who will kill Goliath? And he got an answer. Elisha had to ask a question. Elijah was a prophet who knew how to do miracles. We talked about him earlier. He could stop the weather. The elements were obeying him. But a time came when he had to ask for food. We have to ask. He had to ask for food. Otherwise, something else would have happened to him. He would have met his untimely death. Elijah had to ask his number two man who took over from him, Elisha. So, what do you want me to do for you? What is it? Why are you going around with me? And that gave him an answer. Asking makes a whole lot of difference. I wrote something about the prodigal son, another story I love so much. You can read it in the book. Please feel free to ask. The world is filled with abundance of answers. You can never over ask, but you can under ask. I'm taking my time to rush now because we need to just go through here and there. So I wrote a whole lot about R, which talks about relationships. Relationships. Two are said to be better than one because they get good rewards for their labor. You are as good as your relationship. So it's important
how you choose your relationships. I also talked about people who claim to be self-made men. There's no self-made man anywhere in the world that stands to be corrected. You would say you took decisions on your own, but whatever you do involves people. You were giving birth to somebody by somebody, you were given birth to by somebody, you were nurtured by somebody, we all depend on each other. So R talks about relationship. We need to know how to have good relationships. Relationships are very powerful. They can either make you or they can mar you. That's why you need to choose wisely. Somebody once talked about the fact that if a man chooses a good wife, he will have a good life. Because according to him, life is just one word short of wife. Remove the L, you swap it with W, and you get wife. You remove the W, you swap it with L, you have life. So a good wife gives you a good life. That's as simple as that may sound. What the person was trying to tell us is the fact that your relationships can make you or mar you. I think I read something like that in Think and Grow Rich, one of the chapters where Napoleon Hill talked about the fact that relationships have a way of making you to be successful, making you to be rich. So this corroborates that fact. Choose your friends, your teammates, your acquaintances properly. It's such an important issue. Even Jesus had to choose 12 people. Mind you, he needed the team to work with. The importance of teams and tribes, as they are referred to in some quarters, cannot be overemphasized. Football has a team. They would take the best 11 to go to the field. Sometimes they keep a reserve of a good person who will stay to study. You are as powerful and as wealthy as your team. If you don't have a good team, I'll encourage you to begin to consciously choose relationships, make friends, choose wisely. You are as good as your team. Every organization thrives on the team. And sometimes there's a need to change team. Like I mentioned, the football team, the football, they need to swap people and then put some more people so that the team would have energy. So sometimes you may need to grow your team. It was Jabez that said, expand my sphere of influence. Thou mayest expand my territory. Sometimes you need to expand. Trees grow, some are crawling, climbing, they enlarge their territories. You need to grow beyond where you are by enlarging your tribe. There's a story inside that I will not tell you about. You need to read it in what I titled the domesticated cub. I tell you, this book is not too big, but it's so loaded. It's something that you can read and become wiser and better. So I need to run to the next one letter here, the next letter here, which is L, which is love. Oh, everything thrives on love. The fifth letter in our wonderful pearl is love. Love is the greatest command of all time. The fifth letter in our wonderful pearls is love. Love is the greatest commandment of all times. And it is the most craved of all affections, from a child to adult to spouses to everybody, even pets. Your dog, your cat, every pet you have craves for affection, for this affection called love. We see this very strong feeling in homes by parents. They need to give it to their children, and the children also need to give it to their parents. It's a two-way thing. Love heals and has positive effects on humanity. Love is expressed in several ways, some of which include physical touch and all that. You will read all of it in the book. That is pearls, wonderful pearls, beautiful pearls, that when you use them, they make you to look very outstanding anywhere in the life, in the world that we live in, which takes us to the next word, which is S, and it talks about standing out. Standing out. Yeah, so Or in the last letter, before we get to the last letter, which is S, I don't want to talk so much about love. I want you to go into the book and read a lot of what love is all about. And not just reading it. I'd like you to, give me your own definition or your own understanding of what love is all about. But I know that this is what makes the world go round. I learned something I learned something that makes a difference between religion that we practice and the real Christianity or spirituality. It depends on how you want to look at it. Some people take offense when you mention Christianity, but the truth is, it's our walk with our Savior, it's our walk with divinity, it's our walk with God Almighty. So it depends on the nomenclature you look at it, with. But the truth is that people like to practice religion, fight for religion, fight for, fight with each other, all in the name of practicing religion, fighting for a God. But when you go through the scriptures, you will see where people who had walked with God will tell you, let God fight for himself. If you believe in God and I believe in God, God is love. Why would we want to fight and hurt each other? Why would we want to kill each other for a God that is love? I think you need to explore. Love is great. Love makes the world go round. Love is God. Humanity is waiting for love. Love is invincible and it's invisible. Love is stored in the hearts and it's expressed through our actions. There's so much about love. This is one area I would really like to get feedbacks from you. What do you think is love? What sacrifices have you made to show to people out there that you love them? This is very, very important. And this is very important, and that takes us to the very last letter. Again, P.E.A.R.L.S is not the end of proven and tested secrets. There's a lot that I've written here, and there's a lot of secrets that are out there that you too are you're free to discover for yourself. I just brought up this ones. You can even agree with me that while I'm mentioning these things, quite a lot of things have dropped into your spirit and into your mind. That's what I mean by inspiration that comes when you connect with divinity. So it doesn't end here. There's so much about life. I didn't even mention giving. I didn't mention it at all. But inside of love, there's giving. You can't talk about love without giving. So I had to just put them under these 6 headings. This book is not the end of tested and proven secrets, but I'm sure they will lead you into so much. They will stir you up into doing so much. I needed to say that because I know that you too, you're beginning to get inspired to know more about things that have been proven, things that have been tested. I didn't even write about resilience. I didn't write about passion in its own. I could have made it one of them. But I needed to put the book in the shortest form. Yeah, I needed to do that. Having said that, I need to get to our last letter, which is S, which is S. Pearls. So the last letter is S, and S actually stands for standing out. You see, we live in a world where people want to do things that every other person is doing. I think that most times comes to undo us. We need to know that you were created alone, even if you came in as a twin or an identical twin. Some twins have a way of wanting to do things themselves, wanting to always be like their twins, from their mother's womb. That's a very good one. But at the end of it all, we all have our individual lives to live. So S, standing out or separate yourself. That's what the last letter stands for. That's what the last letter stands for. The world we live in is such that everybody needs to stand on their own. And there's a lot of limitations that have come in form of religion. The makeup of a human body reveals the need for human beings to be different. We all have special and unique functions that can make the world worth living because we are created uniquely to complement each other. That's why you can never see two people that are exactly the same. Even identical twins are not identical after all. They may look identical on the outward or facially, some features, but I had this reason to look intently at identical twins that were so called identical. And I discovered that they're nowhere close to be identical if you look at them very well. That tells us that we're all unique, which is what I've been talking about all along. So one of the greatest limitations of humanity is the inability to locate an identity and purpose, hence the copycat syndrome. Technology, psychology, medicine, and all other fields of endeavor have made us to understand that we all have our unique DNA. And our uniqueness is displayed and revealed in our simple everyday tasks like driving, walking, talking, eating, all our mannerisms. If you watch the decisions people make, you will realize that we're all unique and we're very, very different. I mentioned something about the Ashoebi syndrome. I mentioned something about the Ashoebi syndrome, which is Ashoebi means cloth for family, cloth for friends, where it's become like the norm. You go for a party, you go for any function, wedding or whatever. People are made to wear same color, sometimes same pattern. And the thing with this thing is it's so beautiful to look at anyways. But studies have shown that not every color suits everybody. But because we need to do this, we all lump ourselves together and we don't separate ourselves. The thing is that most times when you dress differently, probably wear another color, people will look at you as though you are the odd man. Meanwhile, you're meant to be separate, look different. Religion has made us to conform, to be uniform. People would wear the same clothes, speak the same way, talk the same way. School has also made us to do the same things and all that. When we were in school, we were made to wear uniforms. I think maybe that's where we grew up with this uniform thing, and then we were made to write cursively. If you don't do that, then you were looked at as somebody who does not know how to write. So we all grew up to think that we must all be alike. One thing that makes people known, seen, and heard is the act of being different, being separate, being unique, standing out. And it's achieved by the simple things that you do positively. Simple views. David stood out in his time because he took a different view. His two spies stood out. Now, being standing out does not have anything to do with your age or whatever. I love this book and I made reference to it. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. I hope all these people I'm making reference to about their book will get me out of their royalties because in the course of talking, I mentioned quite a lot of books. So he talked about some very interesting things. A book I'd like you to read. It's one of those books that helped me. So I had some questions. I said some people like the drama of carrying placards and protesting. And when you ask them, they will tell you, after all, is our right. Some people, on the other hand, like to question and analyze the situation critically and prefer solutions. Which do you want to be? While people are protesting and carrying placard, you can stand out if you act differently. Moses' mother lived in a time where all infants were killed, but she refused to submit her child to be killed. So you can also look at that in my book. The link I'll leave below. Why did the prostitute leave? There is something extraordinary that you show the world when you stand out. And I mentioned that apart from religion and education, I think the media also makes us to be conform to become like one another or become exactly alike by by feeding our minds with the same information, so we cannot decipher between anything. Please do not get me wrong. It's very good to be informed, but when an information or a media house goes beyond information and begins to indoctrinate people and brainwash people, then something is wrong. They make you to stay within a cocoon. They cage your mind, and make you not to be able to think outside the box. That is restricting. And I think I asked some questions. I said, what were the names of people who were shouting, crucify him, crucify him? More often than not, you don't get to know the names of people in the crowd. But what one person does, like I gave example of Simon of Cyrene, when he helped Jesus to carry the cross, his name is known. So you need to stand out. That's the one of the ways that you can be different and influence your world. Well, like I said, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. We can't exhaust this book, even though it's just 78 pages. But I'd like to bring this to a close as I read for us what some people have said about the book. First, I like to say first of all, I like to say something about reading a book, which I would encourage you to do. The best moments in reading are when you come across something, like a thought, like as I was speaking, maybe you've grasped something, a feeling or a way of looking at things which you had thought special or particular to you. Sometimes it happens when a preacher is preaching or you're listening to a talk or something, some kind of teaching. And now here it is, set down by someone else, a person you had never met, someone even who is long dead. When I know I'm talking to you, I'm still alive. And it is as if a hand has come out and taken yours to say, let's go through this route. These are the moments that I pray that you get to meet in this book, in purpose, elasticity, asking, relationship, love, and separating and standing out. But that said, these are the things that some people that have read have to say about the book. And I please encourage you to leave your reviews to enable me make corrections in the revised edition of the book, because this is a first print. The author of Plucking Your Low-Hanging Fruits said, written with such simplicity of language and use of relatable events to illustrate, the author drives home this truth by making sure readers acknowledge the influence of nature and the purpose in human activities. Purpose, elastic, ask, relationships, love, separate, which represent the whole essence of this book, is a compendium of books condensed into one as a wholesome package for life and living. Like pearls are sought for after this book is one of such pearls you need for the values it carries. An accountant with Nigerian Social Insurance, and she said this, very clear and insightful. A must read for everyone trying to find themselves and gain clarity. And then I also have the CEO of Soboms Nigeria Limited, who was a former executive staff in CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria. That's what CBN means, just in case you're listening to me from other parts of the world. He says everybody runs on pearls I would call philosophies, principles, beliefs, and values. We are valued according to the pearls we hold. This book helps you to consciously identify and collect some pearls to make life meaningful beyond existence. Now, these are a few things some people have said. I also have a friend who I gave it to when she came visiting, and she said the book is a good companion. So I want to actually present to you Pearls, Tested and Proven Secrets with love from me. You're welcome to The Real You. This is a channel that helps everyone that comes across it to be the best version of themselves. Today, I had to present a book. Usually, my videos are very short. This channel is geared towards helping you to be the best version of yourself by applying the principles that can drag and draw from people's lives, both living and no more, people that lived in present times, old times, and all that. This is to make us to be the best that we can be. If you're here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell icon there so that next time I do a video to get right into your box. That said, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the links below. Remember, this book goes for 1/4 of its original price, and I've given you free books. And the 1/4 of the original price is for the first 10 people that will follow the link to buy it. And then I gave freely my other book, which is titled Why Did the Prostitute Leave? Is in PDF form. I also left a link for you to get a book that transformed my life, which is It Works. It's a small book, maybe one, whatever, I can't even imagine of this book, but it's very powerful. And on this note, I would like to end. It's not in reading the book, but it's in putting to practice the things that you have learned from the book and listening to your spirit. Because as you read, more things will be revealed to you. Thank you so very much for your time. Please leave your comments and remember to be you and be real because there's no one like you in all the earth. Stay strong, stay beautiful, and stay blessed. Bye bye, and God bless you until I bring another video your way shortly.
As I gradually bring the presentation of this my latest book to this my wonderful Derail You family, I feel so excited to watch this girl, 27-year-old Hilda Bassi, break the the marathon cooking record of 100 hours. Wow, that's amazing. But you know, that's not just the thing that amazes me. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Hilda Bassi. But what is amazing me is that I saw the 6 principles that are tested and proven play throughout this her season of cooking. First of all, you can't take away the P from her, which is the fact that she had a purpose. And like I said in my book, you can read it up. Please buy the book and read it because everybody needs to stand out. Everybody needs to make history. And Hilda Bassi has made history. P there, she had a purpose, which is what she wants to do, how she wants to do it. I know watching one of the videos prior to the contest, she said she has decided to try out something and that she's going to work with a group of people. And you know, the E there is something all of us saw. She was stretched. Cooking for 100 hours is not a joke. And amazingly, that's one of the best definitions of stretch that I've really seen, where you are pulled beyond your limits. Like I said in the book, when I was explaining E, is that she was stretched. That's not her usual self. In recent interview, she talked about the fact that she still has blisters in her legs, she can't eat properly and all that. But you see, the truth is that she's come back to herself gradually. So when success stretches you beyond your limits, and I said that we can learn from the chameleon, but I think we can really learn from Hilda, where you have to pay the price to actually get the price. You have to pay the price to get the prize. You have to pay the price to get the prize. That's exactly what elasticity does to us. Pulls us, stretches us, takes us beyond our limit. But you see, after the whole thing, we'll come back to normal. Those things that stretch us can be referred to as sacrifices in some cases. And of course, you can't take away the A because she must have asked questions. Listening to her, she said she didn't know that she could sit down. But I think it was better she didn't sit down because I think at that point I watched her 82 hours plus. If she sat down, honestly, she would have slept. Because it's even possible for you to sleep standing when you're really, really exhausted. So she had to do it the way she found out it could be done. So the letter A there is asked. She asked people to come to cheer her up, which they did very well, to support her, which they did very well too. She had a backup team who would help her set up the place and all that. And then, of course, our relationships. Relationships are very pivotal in your ladder as you climb to success. Her mother was there, her friends were there. I think her instructor, gym instructor, was also there because one of those times I heard him telling her, "You're almost at the finishing line, you're almost at the finishing line." So, relationships are, something that you cannot play with. They are what we call your team. Sometimes you need to take out some people and then put some people. Of course, love, 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 love. I've said so much about love, but I still want you to, like I said, let me know your thoughts about love. But I'm just doing this because we still haven't dealt with the letter S, which is what I want to use to cap up this thing. And I say a few things, and then this video will be done. But once again, don't forget, it's all about buying this book, downloading it. If you want the hard copy, please, I'll leave my email address with you. I'll leave my email address in a link so that you can connect with me and get the copy. Because recently I was reading something about books, and they say books are things that you can always refer to again and again. You can get it again and again. I love ebooks. I read a lot of ebooks on an app called Script. Again, like I said, most of these apps and books that I mentioned, they need to give me royalties. Script, I mentioned you again and again. So please, you need to connect with me to know that I've done free marketing for you. Yeah, having said that, I need to get to L, which is love. Honestly, love is what makes people go the extra mile to sacrifice for you. Love is what kept people up there trying to share up Hilda. I'm so excited that I saw these six principles play out. Love for what you do, love for God. People can say whatever they want to say. I hear there is somebody who is a pastor who said that he was disappointed when he got to Hilda's page and saw her pictures. Well, I said sarcastically that what was he looking for in her page? Well, he wanted to know more about her. I haven't even visited her page anyway, but I had to go to Google to find out who she is. Anyways, that said, whatever anybody wants to say about her is the fact that I saw that she prayed and thanked God when the whole contest was over. What else do you want from somebody? Somebody has thanked God in her own special way. I want to say this at this point in time. Loving God is a personal thing. How you love God is a personal thing. How you want to show love to some other person is a personal thing. I think somebody wrote a book sometime about five love languages. Like I told you, this book is a compendium of books that I've read. Five love languages. People respond to love differently. People show and appreciate love differently. So you can't talk about the fact that you can't begin to judge her. But one thing I know is that she displayed the letter L by loving God, by loving people, by even people showing her love, and then she loving in response. Because there's this case of her best friend talking, some things that we didn't even get to know. Well, that said, I want to now hit on the S, which is what I really noticed, and I was so excited when I saw it play out in Hilda's quest for this 100 hours of marathon cooking for one person. You saw the crowd there. It's amazing, an amazing crowd. Wonderful support team. People were out there cheering her up. Sometimes you hear people praying, sometimes you hear people, singing, sometimes you hear people talking to her. I remember sometimes somebody say, Hilda, pick the waters in the red pot, hold your spoon and all that. That was a wonderful support team. So S in this book, like I said, means to separate, to stand out, to be different from other people. Do you know that, like I say, which is one of the theme in this book, is the fact that in life there are two sets of people: those who make history and those who watch history being made. While Hilda was standing out and being separate and doing her thing, the crowd was there. And like I said, who knows the names of the people in the crowd? Nobody knows their name. Now, please don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to put anybody down. Congratulations to Hilda Bassi, but she could not have done it if she didn't have a wonderful assistant who also stood with her. All the pain she went through, I think sometimes they had to swap. But all the pain she went through, the assistant also went through it with her. That's to talk about people supporting you. But you see, it was one person. She separated herself from the crowd. She could have been in the crowd cheering somebody out, but the whole thing was about her. She was the one who was in the making of history. She was the one who was making history. Every other person was busy cheering her up, supporting her, and all that. She stood out. So as I bring this book to a wrap, I want you to understand that you must decide that I want to be separate. Like I talked in the book, I talked about the Ashwebi syndrome. And I said our educational houses have taught us to always be in uniform. They've taught us to always be doing things the same. Ashwebi is very beautiful. Sometimes even when you're not in Nigeria and you go outside, there's theme, dress color, dress code and all that. It's beautiful. But You need to stand out. So Hilda stood out. The crowd was there, but history was about one person. And who will Guinness Book of Records validate? It's Hilda Bassi. It's not the crowd. Nobody knows the names of the crowd. So I want to say to us that as long as you remain in the crowd, you will not be noticed. It's when you single out yourself to do something separate, something different, that you'll be noticed. Today, she's put her name in Guinness Book of Record. She's made history. She's put her footprints on the sands of time. Big shoes, big feet, my girl. Big feet, Hilda Bassi. I was wondering at 27, what was I doing? And at 27, there's so many people who would be asking themselves, what are they doing? Some people will think, oh, I'm too young to do that. No, nothing is too small. That's why I said this book is not for young people, it's not for old people, it's not for males, it's not for female, it's for everybody who wants to stand out there, make history, put footprints on the sands of time. And I'm glad that I saw in Hilda Bassi purpose, elasticity, asking, relationships, love, and separate and standing out. I saw these 6 principles of success being displayed, and I feel so humbled, first of all, that I wrote a book like this. And I feel so fulfilled that I wrote a book like this. But like I said, everything about success cannot be found here. First, I know that while you're reading or while you're listening to me, you would have grasped more things that I didn't even write. That's what happens. And that's what I used to end the book. It's a quote by Alan Burnett. And the quote says, the best moments in reading are when you come across something. It could be a thought, it could be a feeling. It could be a way of looking at things which you had thought special or particular to you. And now, here it is, set down by someone else. I know that most of the things that I've talked about, you know them. So they're set down by someone else, a person you have never met before. Some of you may never meet me. Someone who may be long dead, at least in my life now, and I'm hoping to be very much alive for a while. But just in case this video stays much longer, much longer, and you're watching it when I'm no more, you will still be hearing my voice by someone, a person you have never met who is long dead, and it is as if a hand just came out and took yours and said to you, you can do it. This is that moment. This is that moment that I am speaking to you. And here are some things that some people said about the book. Written with such simplicity of language and use of relatable events to illustrate, the author drives home these truths by making sure readers acknowledge the influence of nature and the supernatural in human activities. Purpose, elastic, ask, relationship, love, separate, which represents the whole essence of this book, is a compendium of books condensed into one as a wholesome package for life and living. Like pearls are sought after, this book is one of such pearls you need for the values it carries. It is by the author of Plucking Your Low-Hanging Fruits. And then an accountant with Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund had to say this about the book. Very clear and insightful. A must read for everyone trying to find themselves and gain clarity. And a one-time executive staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, now the Chief Executive Officer of Sobom's Nigeria Limited, said this: every life runs on pearls, which I will call philosophies, principles, beliefs, and values. We're valued accordingly to the pearls we hold. This book helps you to concisely identify and collect some pearls to make life meaningful beyond existence. And I'm not going to end if I don't pay or I don't acknowledge the foreword that was graciously written by Ambassador, God knows, Bolaide Egali, a PhD holder, a Pro-Chancellor, Federal University of Technology, Akure. And he is an accomplished author himself, is an accomplished diplomat par excellence, and he had so many things to write about the book. Of course, I said to us that this is just a taste of the pudding. This is just the a little snippets into the book. Like I said, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I may have come to the end of this book, but I'm sure I've not come to the end of tested and proven secrets, which as you go through life, you will also begin to discover yourself. But you will agree with me that inside of purpose, elasticity, asking, but you will agree with me that inside of this tested and proven secrets, which are purpose, elasticity, asking, relationship, love, and standing out, are very, very powerful secrets that we call pearls in this book. So, once again, this is Pearls Tested and Proven Secrets. 6 tested and proven secrets written by me, Patriciatuaweri. I welcome you to please go through the link and get the book for yourself. You can also ask for purchase as I leave my email and other contacts through which you can get the book. Thank you so very much for watching. But it's beyond watching. It's in identifying these things in our everyday pursuit and putting them to practice. Thank you for watching this episode of The Real You. And I hope you were able to grasp one or two things, you're able to learn one principle or two or more, you're able to learn a thing or more that you can add to your very wonderful and vibrant life. That said, it's not about watching, it's about applying the principle. If you, as you go through your day and your week, apply what you have learned here into your life, you will agree with me that it will improve your life. That's the whole essence of this whole channel and this episode in particular, and this video in particular. I want to assure you that you are strong, you are able. If others can, you too can. Nobody was born into this world with the tag winner, overcomer on their forehead. We're all born, thrown into this world to go through the challenges of life. Whether you live in the palace, you live in the slum, wherever you live, the same challenges face everybody. They may come or appear in different ways, but honestly, the same challenges are thrown to everybody. It's all about overcoming them. And trust me, you have the I can spirit. And I want you to go out there and be that person that you were created to be. You are an overcomer. Just be real and stay true to yourself and apply these principles, and you will see the overcomer in you coming out daily. Once again, thank you for watching. And if you're here for the first time, please do not forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon so that next time I do a video like this, it will come right into your box. But for today, I want to just announce to us that for the next 6 episodes, I'm going to be unfolding or talking about the 6 principles that most people who have succeeded in life have applied. Honestly, you don't want to miss it. Thank you once again for watching. I'd like to get your comments. Bye-bye and stay blessed.